Hey guys, Dr. Noah, Dr. Mike, Dr. Wandali. Uh, we thought we'd talk about, rest, relaxation, sleep, winding down, not just sleep, but two things this month that I think sparked us to talk about this. One is our supplement of the month is Deep Sleep Assist, which helps you get to sleep, stay asleep, and reach deeper levels of sleep. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the other thing that, Mike and I in our accountability group and even with our staff and our brick and mortar store, we're talking a little bit about because of this self quarantine, we've all been getting home earlier and we've had more time to wind down, more time to have quiet dinners, more time to connect and spend with our family, maybe even more time to watch the show that we like to watch or the book that we like to read because of this. And Mike and I particularly have found that in the word of the week is intoxicating to be home
It is.
a little early. And I think that's a great word. And Wandale, I think you're experiencing the same thing, right? Where you're getting home
Yeah.
more and, uh, and for me, and it's different for each of us a little bit, but for 19 years, I got home 4 to 5 days a week at 8 o'clock or later. And then if there was sports, it was much later. And there was the race to eat as fast as I can, feed Kellen or Hayden, and get to bed. And I didn't realize how draining that was. And when I say draining, it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it because I love what I do every day and I love working and watching the kids play sports. But it was really draining. And until I was essentially forced to come home early, um, I realized how much toll it took on me and how much I like to be home early. And so much so that at some point, hours will change, days of works will change. Maybe not in the immediate future, but somewhere down the line, without a doubt.
Yeah, actually, for me, when we roll out of this situation and we're able to fully open again, because we are closed except for urgent care here in Nova Scotia. So when our hours kick in again, obviously there'll be some time of catching up. All the people who haven't been able to get in and get an adjustment over the last couple of months, but I'm actually going to change my hours because of that. I think we look after ourselves really well, all three of us. As chiropractors, we exercise, we get adjusted regularly, we get regular massages, we do yoga, we stretch, we eat really well, we take the right supplements. I think we really do everything possible to be as well as we can. But I've also been in practice for 25 years, and that's a lot of pushing and jumping and slamming and moving and banging. And every time I deliver an adjustment to someone, that force, obviously comes back through my body, just like yours. So it is something I'm going to change, maybe be a little bit shorter shifts, maybe spread things out a little bit differently. Because I did notice within, the first week of being on these, abbreviated work hours, how much better I was sleeping. And the difference was not waking up sore. So it's eye-opening.
Absolutely. I concur 100%. I've been adjusted. I've gotten checked. It is the great good fortune of having 4 chiros in our office. And I've always had some low-level back pain, just nagging, but not really altering activities of daily living or impacting in a certain way. And once I stopped, and also from being sick, losing some more weight, that back pain is completely gone. Going back to work part-time as I feel better every day and feel stronger every day. I've got to say that maybe going to an every other day work schedule would work really well for me. And then, of course, when people get back, we can extend our hours. As of right now, we're so quiet after 5:30 that we're closing the office by 6 every day. So I think once the pandemic and the lock in place is over, we'll go back to our regular hours. But I've got to say, it is refreshing to wake up and not have that soreness or joint pain or wrist pain that we get, or shoulder pain. I still do side posture, so it really has made a huge difference.
Absolutely. I think we all concur. And we encourage you to, whoever's listening out there, to think about the things that have improved for the better during this incredible challenging time, because you know what, there are a lot of challenging things, and each one of us here can list a bazillion things that have been challenging, but we can also spend time listing the things that have been beneficial, and we've done that quite a bit over the last couple StreamYards, and what we're grateful for and all those things, because there's always little diamonds in the rough that we can unpack when these challenging situations happen, for sure. And as I mentioned first, Deep Sleep Assist. Well, let's just take a step back. Sleep is very important here. Sleep is one of those things that's going to keep your immune system functioning at its peak level. Might be the most important thing, maybe more important than eating right, maybe more important than the right supplements, maybe more important than exercise. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm hearing some patients telling me that, they're going to bed 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up 9, 10, 11, 12. And, I don't think that's really, I know that's not the best idea. You should really honor your sleep now. And, we created a supplement that is melatonin free. You could add melatonin in. That's what I do. But some people don't handle melatonin that well. That, as I mentioned, will help you get to sleep, stay asleep, and reach deeper levels of sleep. And it's a great supplement, and it's 10% off this month using the code SLEEP10. Any thoughts on the components in the formulation, guys?
Well, all the components are listed on the website. So if people want to go to beyondyourwildestgenes.com and look at that particular supplement, each and every one of the ingredients, there is, sort of its primary reason for being in there, as well as in the research library, the background control trials and things that have been done on various components of that sleep remedy. And it is a really key thing right now. There's a whole bunch of information out there, because I read it a lot, on what they're calling pandemic insomnia. So a large number of people are actually suffering from insomnia during this change in their routine, either because they're not moving as much, or their routine, as Noah said, has shifted, or the stress or the anxiety around what's happening either in their daily life, financially, with their family, because they're by themselves. There's all kinds of reasons for it. But it's a very common thing that's starting to see more and more in the documentation, is this outbreak of pandemic insomnia. So for people who might be suffering from that, this is one supplement that could help, because there is some really strong ingredients to help you get to sleep, which a lot of sleep supplements might have, but also a great number of ingredients that help you stay asleep, which is often a challenge. So both of those things need to be addressed when you're dealing with insomnia.
It's very interesting during this time. The one thing I have changed in talking about winding down is, Noah is the early bird of the three of us, and Wanda Lee and I are night owls, and that's been curbed pretty hard during this time, where I can't tell you the last time I went to bed after 11 o'clock. Most nights I'm in bed 9:30, 10 o'clock. And what I found, which is really interesting, is I do a lot of work at night on the computer, and I wear my blue light blocking glasses, which blue light stimulates the brain, and we don't want that before we go to bed. So what I've been doing is I've been reading regular books at night, like a half hour before I go to bed. And that really seems to put my mind at ease. And the book I'm reading now is who I interviewed tonight for our podcast. It's Deanna Ferrugia, the Life Strengthening book. So we're interviewing her tonight, and this will be a great interview, and that will air in June. So I'm excited about that. So I've been reading more than I did in the past. Most of the times I would listen to books, audios, and or Audible, and doing more, still doing that, but reading at night. So definitely makes a difference.
And I think being less busy during the day with work, you know, some of this computer stuff that we're doing here, which we always do in the morning, but some of the other stuff that kind of, you know, this is our side hustle, if you want to call it that. So, you know, we do that outside of our normal clinic working hours. So often that gets shuttled into a couple hours at night or a few hours here and there. And where we have the luxury of a little bit more time right now, perhaps not working as late on the computer or in those sort of mental things that stimulate the brain, planning and scheduling and, you know, doing the things that we do that aren't really conducive to unwinding.
Very true.
Yeah, I think the overarching message is be constructive in the extra time you have, and being a better winder downer, if we can say that, is very, very, very constructive. Whether it's reading like Mike does, whether it's trying a new supplement, whether it's taking an evening walk, stretching, taking like a yoga nidra class or a yin yoga class, something along those lines, will really help bring. And you know, most of us are at a little bit of a higher stress level, and those our cortisol levels are a little bit higher, and we need to do those things each individually and collectively that helps bring those stress and those cortisol levels down to get a better, deeper night sleep. Any last words, guys?
Well, and just to follow up with that, for me, I've tried both the sleep assist and for me, the stress rebalancer. I can chart that on my watch. That is the thing that makes me sleep, because I think it is for me more of that cortisol, adrenal sort of a shift that, you know, I'm just busy. So my body is on a little bit more of a hormonal churn that way. And so for me, the stress rebalancer is the sleep changer. In terms of quality of sleep, for sure.
Mike?
The two things that really stick out about Sleep Assist, and I do not know if you're going to find it anywhere else, is the inclusion of ashwagandha and rhodiola. And they're game changers because they're adaptogenic herbs. An adaptogenic herb is one that will, if you're too high, it will level you out and bring it back to center. And if you're too low, it will bring you up. I don't know if anybody in the world right now has that in a sleep supplement. So I'm proud that we brought that out to the world.
Absolutely key.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, start your routines on having a better wind down ritual and be awesome and never unawesome.